Thanks, Nadine. Thanks, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us on this edition of the Primetime News on Equinox Television, live from our headquarters in Cameroon's economic capital. Well, in our top stories, we begin out of the country where elections have been postponed in the Federal Republic of Nigeria as a result of some issues that cropped up and compelled the election organizing body to announce a postponement of 1 week of the elections that were due for today. Right, Nadine, thanks. Ladies and gentlemen, for staying with us into the second segment of this newscast. 2 persons have perished in a road accident on the Mutenkene-Limbe highway in the southwest region of the country. They were crushed by a vehicle that lost control. Some persons equally incurred injuries in that other accident occurring in the crisis-hit southwest region of the Republic of Cameroon. And the northwest region, over 200 students of Mission School, St. Augustine College in the Bui division, of course in the northwest region, who were abducted earlier today by unidentified gunmen, have been set free, and they were liberated thanks to some actions undertaken by authorities of that institution in the northwest region of the country, hit by socio-political and security crisis for close to 3 years today. And as a result of difficulties faced by the debt collection company, as a result of the deepening crisis, the military is now taking up the duty of getting the town rid of garbage and, of course, remains of fire incidents in markets, as well as tires that have been set ablaze during some protest move in those parts of the country or parts of the town of Bamenda. And Stella has more from Bamenda.
One of the outcomes of overflowing garbage is air pollution. Besides causing all sorts of health and environmental issues, overflowing garbage constitutes a public nuisance. Within the city of Bamenda, almost all road junctions, streets and markets like the Bamenda Food and Main Market have piles of garbage littered along the streets. The garbage is seemingly abandoned due to the inability to empty garbage cans placed in strategic positions by the company charged with the duty of garbage disposal within the city of Bamenda, this due to the insecurity caused by the deepening Anglophone crisis. Recently, some traders lost their goods to fire, meant to burn piled up garbage in the bin along the streets behind the Bamenda Main Market, while they observed a 9-day lockdown in solidarity with what is termed the struggle. At the Bamenda Food Market, traders say it is difficult to cope with the heaps of garbage littered all over.
The debt is giving us cough in this market. Even for the food that we are selling, it's also bad because as we are selling here, the debt is unhygienic.
It is smell we sometimes she don't serve. You used to say when you go house, your belly no the day fine, but we did it because we will do her now for place where we define we own small thing for chop.
With the help of spades, a front-end loader and a truck, Defense and security forces have taken to the streets of Bamenda from upstation, through Food Market and to other areas in a bid to relieve inhabitants of the piles of abandoned garbage.
The hierarchy of the military of the Northwest region has deemed it necessary to carry out this humanitarian act because with the prevailing situation and the population cannot carry on the activities freely. We are not here to replace Isaka. With the prevailing situation, we cannot allow the population to be suffering. That is why we want to remove all these garbages. Meanwhile, Isaka maybe will carry on the activities.
In their small groups, the traders congratulate the defense and security forces for the humanitarian gesture, but have nothing to say on camera. As revealed by Brigadier General Aga Robinson, commander of the 5th Joint Military Region, defense and security forces have also been involved in the opening up of roads blocked by Ambazonia fighters and the transportation of medication to areas difficult to access due to the crisis, among others. The garbage picked from different points within the city of Bamenda is dumped at the My 6 dump site in Bamenda 2 subdivision.
And now to the nation's political capital, Yaoundé, where the Director General of the National Handicap Center is at Dakar's dawn with employees of that institution, and the employees are calling for his resignation. According to them, he has failed to solve the problems plaguing that institution, including non-payment or non-payment of regular salaries. Details in this report for me, Armstrong Sander.
Director General of the National Handicap Rehabilitation Center of Cardinal Paul-Émile Léger in Yaoundé is on a hot seat as the employees are calling for his resignation. Etienne Roland, staff representative, said the director has been at the helm of the structure for over 20 years and needs to be replaced.
Et qu'il est nécessaire que le chef de l'État procède au changement à la tête de cette structure.
The personnel is accusing the Director General of lack of capacity to solve the problems plaguing the structure, especially social debts evaluated at about $1 billion CFA. Another bone of contention between the Director General and staff of the Handicap Center, situated at Etokebe neighborhood of Yaoundé, is the non-payment of salaries. Etienne Roland Gore said they were told that their salaries for this year will only be available in the month of September, whereas they are yet to receive social benefit. They are also worried about the absence of a collective convention. Dressed in black as a sign of grief, the personnel of this center wants the world to be aware of their suffering. Brandishing documents, they denounce what they term the non-respect of a court decision and resolutions of a crisis meeting which ordered the payment of their salaries.
And the government of the Republic of Cameroon is stepping up efforts to bridge the gap between the training offered in higher institutions of learning and exigencies of the job market. And it is for this purpose that the government institutions, notably universities, are doing everything possible to ensure that the training that is offered in private higher institutions of learning equal to the exigencies of the job market. It is for this purpose that some higher institutions of learning had to sign some agreements with the University of Douala recently in order to allow that higher institution of learning to check through the training programs and also ensure the quality of training delivered in those institutions, and also to bring its expertise and experience to those institutions that sign the agreement with the University of Douala. Now, greater details on this in this extract of the rector of the University of Douala, Professor Francois Xavier Etoile. Take a listen.
Of necessity, because we have to put private institute of higher learning in a legal frame to be in position to control, to be sure that the quality, insurance quality is observed, is applied, because it's very important for, people we will launch in the market to work for the development of our country. So higher education is obliged to help them, to follow them in such a way that in the next future they have to be at the position to train and to deliver degrees, diplomas at the same consideration like state universities.
Coming up, Immaculate Fogwe takes us into the Mora Principal Prison in the far north region of the country, where the inmates in that incarceration center celebrated Valentine's Day in a special way. Her report.
At the Mora Principal Prison in the far north region of Cameroon, celebrated Valentine's Day for the first time. The occasion, which was characterized by the exchange of gifts amongst couples, exposition of handmade crafts like bags, embroidered fabrics, dancing and comedy, was an opportunity for these prisoners to prove to the world that being behind bars does not deprive them from showing love to their families and friends on such a special day. Some of the wives of these prisoners expressed their joy after after they were offered gifts by their partners.
Je suis content pour aujourd'hui. Merci le cadeau, merci. Merci beaucoup.
Valentin, je remercie à vous. Je remercie. Merci.
The regional president of the Extreme North branch of the National Youth Council used the occasion to advise the population on the importance of constantly visiting prisoners.
Vous voyez un Saint-Valentin, un 14 février, aux côtés des familles, aux côtés de leurs époux.
Celebrating Valentine's Day with family and friends gives these prisoners a reason to smile. These inmates, who are sometimes abandoned to themselves, are having a reason to smile today after seeing their loved ones. Prisoners, who are sometimes regarded as consumers, are now becoming producers.
Entrepreneurs, et ils seront même, pour dire, des véritables acteurs de changement et d'impulsion du développement dans leurs différentes localités.
Celebrating the Valentine's Day in this prison was an initiative brought forth by the local youth corner, which had as aim to turn prisoners into prisonpreneurs. The occasion had as theme Valentine's Day, bringing together family and friends. The project coordinator explains that being a prisoner does not make them less human.
Être en prison, c'est pas une fin en soi. Être en prison peut être là, c'est une.
The occasion was meant to show the world that being behind bars could be punishment, but however, it is a moment of transformation. But if these prisoners feel rejected and depressed, the situation could have a mental effect on them. The initiative was meant to bring together loved ones to celebrate with them and express their love towards them.
Vous faites partie de la famille. Donc c'est un peu en gros ça, le reconnecting families.
It should be noted that the most outstanding craftwork produced by these prisoners will stand the chance of traveling to the United Kingdom and South Africa respectively to compete with other inmates in other parts of the country.
Out of Cameroon, Nigerians expressed disappointment and anger over the postponement of the presidential election earlier scheduled for today. And few hours to the opening of polling stations, the election organizing body announced a one-week postponement of the presidential election on grounds that the organ was suffering from some organizational constraints. Katsi, hearing news.
These people in Yola in eastern Nigeria left their homes this morning with the intention to cast their vote in today's presidential elections. But now the vote has been postponed for a week till the 23rd.
Yeah, I'm feeling very bad because I came this morning for election. I heard that the election has postponed. I'm feeling bad.
The Electoral Commission made the decision just 5 hours before the scheduled opening of the polls.
This was a difficult decision for the Commission to take, but necessary for the successful delivery of elections and the consolidation of our democracy.
He added the delay was to make sure the election was free and fair. It's reported the problem is over logistics affecting some areas where the electoral material hasn't arrived on time. The same thing happened at the country's presidential elections in 2011 and 2015 over logistics and security issues. And past elections have been marred by violence, voter intimidation and ballot rigging.
And that's it for today. Good night. Good night, Nadine.
Good night, Babila, Jonathan. Fin de ce journal. Mesdames et messieurs, merci pour votre aimable attention et passez d'agréables moments en compagnie de nos programmes.